All right, so I'm gonna do a quick run through of the shade garden I have back here. This is just one bed. I try to do a lot of shade plants, so ferns and spring ephemerals, heuchera, some understory trees, got a dogwood, eastern redbud back in here. I've got several of the landscape rocks in here, mainly winter interest to try to break up the texture. It's a lot of brown and gray, and it's fairly flat. So I've got several, there's a little better view, and try to kind of scatter them throughout kind of randomly. I need a couple more in the middle, but with all the ephemerals in there, I don't want to bury any. And on the outside here, I've got some more just kind of border stone, same type of rock. It's like they call it Tennessee fieldstone here. I'm sure depending on what location of the country you're in, they call it different things. And so yeah, so get into some of the plants that are in here now. So we got a lot of columbine, which is just starting to flower in here. A lot of these I have just let reseed and have come up as little volunteers and kind of letting this area fill in with columbine and then phlox. So I've got the Phlox, gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's David, so it's a white flowering garden phlox. And then I've also got Phlox Jeana in here, which I just got from Riverbend nurseries a few weeks ago and have planted a bunch all throughout here. So yeah, glad to see the columbine are coming back, and I'm hoping they continue to spread around. They reseed really, really well, so they can be a little, not invasive, it's the wrong word to use, but they will start popping up where you don't expect them to, which in this bed is fine. Like I'm completely okay if they just fill in wherever they can. So we've got lady in red ferns here, kind of scattered all throughout. And this is actually a red maple tree. This is the main shade tree. I've got that red bud back there, but that one is actually dying out. I've had some major branches die on it, so I am planting other trees in here to try to keep this a shade bed, so when that guy eventually does peter out, I'll have something to shade at least that side of the bed. So yeah, lady in red fern with Dutchman's purchase in there. And we've got some of the shooting star coming up. These have not done well. I've really tried to amend the soil in this bed quite a bit. The soil was not great when we first moved here. It was pretty hard packed clay and not a whole lot of organic matter. And so the rhododendrons, the native rhododendron, and then the this one here is a catabona, or I don't know how you say it, catamonese. I always get that confused for whatever reason. I don't talk of plants much, but I'll read about them, and then when I try to say it, it doesn't come out right. So anyway, so yeah, those have not liked the soil amendment very much, because I've been burying them, and actually last year I had to dig them all up and bring them higher in the bed because I had added maybe 4 to 5 inches of soil amendment, so a lot of them were buried and suffered for it. This is a flame azalea here. Really like this. It's a native rhododendron, more to East Tennessee in the Appalachians, Smokies, Cumberland mountain range, and it's just starting to, just getting ready to bloom. But it's got the bright orange blooms on it. So I've got a lot more of these in propagation right now. I'm excited to get those out here probably next fall, but for now this is the only one I got. More Virginia bluebell. I've been planting these, and you can kind of see them throughout here. Planting these for the last 4 years. Actually, this past year is the first year I didn't put any in the ground. So these are just now starting to get where they're dense enough where they actually look pretty good. And they'll spread on their own too if they're happy. But great native perennial to have. Super easy. to plant, deal with, and it's ephemeral, so try to plant with something else. Like I've tried to plant it amongst ferns because they will disappear come late May, June. You won't even know they were there. So yeah, rhododendron, another one. We just got 2, and the other 2, because of my soil amendments, die. But I'm gonna get some more eventually here. Now I'm done doing any soil amendments in this bed. This is a Piedmont azalea, another native azalea. This one has not done well. I think once again, soil amendments have been its nemesis, and it has not been happy, but it's still got several little tiny buds coming out, so we'll see what it does this year. Got just the wild violet in here. I have just decided not to weed that out anymore. I think it kind of looks cool. I like the texture of it, and it works well with the ferns. And we've got heuchera and tiarella. This is either, I'm terrible about labeling plants or remember what they are because I put so much stuff in here, but these 2 are tiarella. Got those when I was working out in the field, doing tear outs and landscape jobs, and got those from a client's property and brought them here. They have done really, really well, starting to flower. And these 2 are either guacamole or pistache heuchera, and they do not like part shade. They almost like full shade come summer because they almost died. I actually had them over here with the rest of them, and they were on the brink of death before I transplanted them over here. So yeah. So we've got another native azalea here. Once again, it's a Piedmont azalea. I believe this is Camellia's blush. It's like a pink flowering, a brighter pink flowering one. So it's got a couple buds on there. So this one's doing all right, but I think this one has actually not been buried. And I actually raised all these up last year, but it hasn't been buried nearly as bad as some of the other ones were. Got Trillium back in here. Don't know what kind these are. I can't remember. I got these a few years back, and once again didn't label them, so I've got several different ones in here. These are actually all supposed to be, at least the Trillium, are ones that are native to Tennessee. Man, the bluebells look great this year. Just can't get over how good those things finally look. It's like 3 years of work to try to get those things established and then dense enough where they look good. Last year they still looked really thin and sparse.